Start scene first, actually. Okay, it's 10 after. I waited a good bit to make sure people can get in if there's coming in. So we'll just go ahead and get going. Let me adjust things. Drop this down to about here. Hopefully that makes some good audio. If anyone's out there who can tell me if my music's too loud or too little or, I don't know, just enough. Okay, I'll transition over. We'll go ahead and just transition to this. Hello, we're going to be doing the end of the jam stream. I'm kind of a few days after what was supposed to be the end of the jam. But I wasn't in town to really do things, and I wanted to make sure that I had enough time to prepare and all that. As well as, you know, it's not a bad idea to do end of jam streams to be, you know, after the start of things. So, we'll go ahead and get started. For those who don't know anything about what jam this is, if you somehow missed that I did the Street Grimoire jam, I started the Street Grimoire jam, what was it, 2021? 2023? Somewhere in that range. So it's been 3 to 5 years that I started the jam. I think this is the 4th year I've done it, actually. So, I mean, I guess there is a easy way for me to figure that out. I'd open up another tab and look at that, but it's neither here nor there. It's just a celebration jam of, you know, celebrating modern day settings with magic and high advanced tech normally. As you can see, the wonderful art that was done for that I had commissioned while I was in good situations, and I have been using every year since I got it. So I guess that's also another thing. Some of you have not seen me for a while. I actually just got a haircut yesterday, so oh hey, long time no chat. Nice to have you in. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, let's go ahead and get into the jam. Some of the things that we did. So there was 5 themes, though admittedly 5 themes. There was 4 submissions, and in those 4 submissions, only 3 of the themes was attempted to be used. Not that the themes are bad, it's just the way that, you know, inspiration hit, and that's perfectly fine. That's amazing. That we even, you know, whatever. So the themes that happened this year was generic artifacts, hidden figures, lacerated souls, sewer dragons, and starlit stories. And yeah, so when it came to the submissions, like I said, there was 4. We got Occult Barcelona by El Bueno Tocino. I believe I said that. I probably butchered it. We have Labyrinth of Entertainment by Sierra Phantom, Urban Hoarders by Terran, and Formless Horror Screams in the Sewers by Gurin. And honestly, I absolutely I loved each one of these for different reasons. I think it was really fun. Just got another follower. Thanks for Beep. Thanks for following. Now I feel like I'm being followed. Help! No. So yeah. Honestly, that was really good. So I kind of wanted to go through each one of these. We'll kind of go in the order that they're presented here, and we'll talk about each one. I'm not going to read each one. One of them is an adventure game. That's the Formless Horror Screams in the Sewers. And one of them is, like, over 80 pages. I don't remember exactly how many. And that is too much for me to do for a stream that I want to talk about everyone's stuff. Especially since one of them is a one-page, and that just wouldn't be fair, right? So, first we'll talk about the Occult Barcelona. So it's a system with a setting and a pre-made adventure at the end. This is the 80-page one, or the mini-paged one. And it is a system set in Barcelona where magic is rare and dangerous. It is really interesting. It is this one tab, actually. A horror investigation game about losing yourself through magic. I honestly, one of the things I really loved about this that really vibed well with me was the fact that they did the newspaper edition, like the newspaper layout for the PDF and book. Yeah, about 78 pages. But this sort of like really helps kind of set that feeling for the system. I really enjoyed it. The character creation was pretty interesting with choosing some skills and spells. I not normally am one to jump for horror-focused games, but you know, the vibe was right. I really did like how this was done, even using the font of the newspaper within the character sheets here, the pre-gens. And overall, I think that this is a really definitely a good read, especially if you want to, you know, something that really hits home on a modern setting. The fact that they chose to use Barcelona was interesting. And I believe... Yeah. The system, they do want 5 or more, but there is community copies that you can get. They have 10 community copies remaining. But they have full rules, edible character sheet, and pre-made character zips. And honestly, overall, I think that it was probably... I mean, it's just a really good read, really fun one. So the next one is Labyrinth of Entertainment that I wanted to talk about. This was interesting to me because it kind of gave me more of a board game vibe, but it was a tabletop, right? So that's this one, Labyrinth of Entertainment. And it has kind of these zones. And so, from what I understand from reading the lore, it was... You're kind of in a abandoned pizza arcade that you go with, like, you and your friends at, like, you know, whatever, kind of the Fazbear, Five Nights at Freddy sort of vibe. And you just kind of have to adventure through this, this abandoned arcade through exploration, with your characters, gaining stats and losing stats. You have a few different things like roughhousing, whimsy, balance, and explore. But you have a hunger and a distraction meter. Pretty much, you can become distracted over time, or get hungry over time. And, you know, you can go and eat pizza to do things. So it just kind of feels like a actual... You're in a... Well, you're in a fun zone, and you're just trying to survive and whatnot. So I guess it's another horror game setup. But, yeah. Also, the art, like, of Jerry here just had me rolling. The smile sort of thing with the tokens on the ground, just kind of like, bend down and grab them, I dare you. Just... Oh, man. Overall, I think that this was really fun. I really liked what they was doing with what they had. And I think it has a lot of potential to be, you know, really interesting. The fact that, you know, you can get weapons as prizes or other items as prizes. It's just a really good way to tie in mechanics in a very, like, unique or interesting way. to that sort of flow. For this one, they did the generic artifacts and the hidden figures, and I really think that they hit that generic artifacts really well, given that the generic artifacts are those the prizes that you get, right? They are just basic items that you're getting for prizes using your prize tickets. But yeah, I have not ran it. I didn't run any of these, but reading it, I just really enjoyed it. The next one that I want to jump and talk, Urban Hoarders. That's this one. And that is, this is a one page. And honestly, the cuteness of this one page is just exceptional. It's, you're playing little tiny sewer dragons, which is one of the themes, one of the things of the things that, like, give the chaotic energy that is, and it's just so good. I absolutely love it, right? Like, you get to be a little guy, a little dragon, which apparently is much smaller than a normal dragon. And you have, or you want to collect your hoards, you want to be greedy and all that, and you can kind of, like, have that sort of, like, bad sort of mojo jojo as you go through things. Being one page, it does have, like, nice little improvising and adventure sort of roll tables, because that's just, you know, something a lot of one pages need. The mechanics for the players are very simple, just kind of a, you know, few descriptors and whatever. The fact that one of your hoards could be things from used tea bags to discarded photographs is just, it really helps to kind of describe to me, like, what sort of personality, like, if you was someone who picked up someone's discarded photographs, what would that really say about your relationship to photographs or to these things? Like, are you picking them up because you want to actually, you see these photographs as kind of like an emotional tether to these people that you may not know, but you, like, want to know more about them, and you kind of, like, create a collage telling a story of all these random people, or try to, like, that could be a really fun little character concept right there. But yeah, karma can be, one of the systems is karma, which allows you to add one to your roll, or you can just give into your craving and become a little bit more greedy and whatnot. Which, if you do get too greedy, you berserk and have to leave, because you just need to just live into that greed. But yeah, overall, I think that this was probably, I mean, all of them have been one of my favorites, but this one is definitely one that I just kind of absolutely adored. And then lastly, Urban Horrors themes was Sewer Dragons. For the last one to talk about is the Formless Horror Screams in the Sewers. Formless Horror is a game by the creator, a horror game by Goran. I don't recall if in the last year he did a submission of the Formless Horror or not. I do think I read it once before. But it is definitely, it is another horror game. But the way that he kind of handled the art direction for this, for the layout and stuff, was, this is definitely a much higher quality, and I really like how he has this set up. But then Screams in the Sewers, Adam is his actual name. And I don't want to scroll too much since this is an adventure, but it is definitely a good read if you're wanting to find a sewer-based little horror game, I think that this would be a really good thing. Formless horror itself, I don't fully remember. I want to say it was... Yeah, it's mostly a narrative system. It's been a hot second since I've read it over. I'm trying to do quick reads. Yeah, it looks... but, yeah. Overall, I think that it's... Formless Horror was really good. I'm actually very happy for Adam to have done a scenario, just because that's something that I've kind of talked to him about, but in other creatives, that when you make a system, the one thing you kind of should be pushing for is to make adventures that goes along with it. Mostly because it really helps give someone who's interested in the system that you're making a chance to really dig in and figure out what that, what it means to play it or run it. So yeah. Let's go ahead and start talking about the who wins what awards. So when it comes to Street Grimoire Game Jam, there are always 3 awards. 3 primary types of awards, I guess. We have the Community Award, which is the highest ranking, or highest voted on words. The one the community likes the most based off of rankings. Then we have the Theme Award, which is also kind of based off of the rankings, but specifically on themes. And there is only one that can win that for each one per theme. And if there is a tie, then I would normally jump in. And then there's the Judge's Choice, which if I had other judges, it would be kind of a collaboration thing, but I didn't get other judges this year, given my personal issues that I've been dealing with. So it was just me of what I want to deem my favorite. So let's go ahead and talk about the Community Award. So the number one in the community would be Occult Barcelona, the submission by Tocino. Hey, I hope that's how you pronounce it. This has the highest ratings out of all the other submissions. And honestly, I think that for what it is, it really is a really good submission. So everyone congratulations to Occult Barcelona, to Tocino for their submission. Next, we have the themes, and we have only one submission for generic artifacts, so that one will go to Labyrinth of Entertainment for the generic artifacts theme award. Hidden Figures will go to Occult Barcelona, since Labyrinth of Entertainment already has one, but Hidden Figures is already beat when it comes to Occult Barcelona. And then for Sewer Dragons, it goes to Formless Horror, Screams in the Sewers. Now, I could kind of just decide myself some theme, the other 2 themes, since there is things, but I'm not going to do that. It wasn't submitted as those themes, and I don't feel like it would be very fair. That being said, the final one, the final award, when it comes down to was the Judge's Choice, and my Judge's Choice is actually going to Urban Hoarders. I gotta say, I have a soft spot for one-pages and the the cuteness mixed with the like evil way of the dragons is just kind of like it just spoke to me. It's that little guy energy that I just love too much. I'm just a little guy. um, so I'm gonna have to go with that. Yeah. That, unless I get into talking about other things that I really liked or disliked, which, I mean, there wasn't too much I disliked about any of these, not without splitting hairs. I did write a little blurb for each one, but it was mostly happy. I could probably do a bigger write-up about what I like and dislike for each one, since there's only 4 submissions. But I will hold my tongue. I'll ask the submitters if they are okay with that. But yeah. The only other thing before I guess I want to kind of take a moment to step back and talk about what may or may not happen with Street Grimoire Jam in the future. I do want to continue it, but it is one of those things. It really depends. This year was kind of not a great year for me. I've lost multiple people in my real life. It's kind of thing that kind of really slowed me down on my creative pursuits. I recently, a couple months ago, lost my job. So I've been jobless, which arguably means I could have put more effort into this, but I didn't. And I don't know what my future holds. That being said, I really do think that I like what the Street Grimoire Jam symbolizes, and I don't want to stop it. So moving forward, I think I may just try and maybe do less so I can do more with it. But it all just depends on, you know, some other things. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, but I wanted to put that out there. If you have ideas of what I could potentially do, or want to just talk about the jam, then come to the Discord. I think I have a Discord link. Nope, that didn't work. Bother. Let me open up things so I can just get a... Actually, I could just do a... You are in the Discord. Thanks. For anyone who's going to be watching later, because I know that there were some people who's not in the Discord. I'm trying to... do that. That is linked to Discord for anyone watching in the future, and I'll make sure to add that as well. Yeah. I can't think of anything else. Only other... I'm moving into other Kyle projects. Would be... If you don't know about it, I do have adventure module I've been doing an itch funding for my system of Novarchaic, though I hadn't been pushing any of the things that I said I was going to push on it, and I need to actually update this anyways. But an itch funding, if you don't know, is just a it is a way to raise funds. Right now there has a goal of 150. I actually have a tiered system. So 150 is the first goal that we're trying to get to. And once I have that, then that pretty much means the Ashcan PDFs uh, gets released to the public, right? And for those who may not know, an Ashcan PDF is essentially, or an Ashcan release is just kind of like a slang term to go, yeah, no, that's for a tasting or no frills sort of release of the thing. So the Ashcan PDF of this would literally just be the adventure, the player character guide, and that's it, right? Just very basic stuff, no front page, nothing like that. Then at 1,500, I have another goal of the professional adventure, which would have the actual art, expanded story, etc. And then I also have another goal after that for virtual tabletop asset creation. I have different tiers. The early bird versions of both the PDF packet and the VTT packet. PDF packet is you get the finished PDF product when it releases, and the virtual tabletop packet means that you get the virtual tabletop assets. I will point out that even though I have these as meeting goals, these goals are more of not if they will be done, because it will be done. I will be making virtual tabletop assets. It's just, will I be spending my own money to do so? I will be getting a professional version of this adventure, but will I be spending my own money too? Right? But yeah, the story itself is one that's kind of a teasing starting of a big story, all in just kind of like a micro story, an adventure that can kind of be a starting off point for someone else's story, right? It is just something that could be 1 to 3 different sessions, depending on players and how they decide to go about the challenge that is within it. You can read the adventure when you're on there, but I just kind of wanted to bring it up on this stream that it exists. Copy and paste that into the chat. Maybe. And yeah, so that's it from me today. I just wanted to, well, do the end of stream. Unless there's any questions, I don't really have too much more to talk about things. So, good. I am really happy with everything that was submitted. Good job to all those who submitted. And honestly, I can't wait till we see what pops up for the next Street Grim. And with that, unless there's any questions, I'll chat at you all later. Bye!